Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. I am so grateful that you're here with us. And today, I am Joy Francis. I'm Joy Francis every day, but I just thought about that one. I didn't realize I guess the car problems that we just had and my trying to hurry home and get here to be able to do this get into the studio just got me a little bit crazy. So I apologize for my not being together right away. However, let me try this one all over again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this wonderful world. Welcome to Lunch with Joy, from prospects to profits. And today we are going to talk about, I want you to think about if you're using a CRM, a customer relationship management program system, what are your biggest challenges in using that system? What is it that you wish you had or that it would do that it's not doing? What I'd like you to do is write that in the comments on this page, whichever page you're watching this on, wherever you're at, just write it in the comments so that we can see the comments and we can know what you're saying. But the most common thing that I'm hearing from people is that they need to get some way to follow up with their prospects, to keep the prospects engaged, and to make sure that they have a better idea when that prospect could be ready to buy. Instead of trying to sell them every time they send them an email, they can send them an email when the prospects become more ready. And that's one of the biggest challenges. And that's why that was the first thing that I tackled when I created Rev Turbo. And Rev Turbo is a program that is it's a CRM that's going to work for you and with you, not against you. It's not going to make more work for you. It's going to lessen your workload. It's going to relieve a lot of that burden and that chaos. It's going to keep you doing the things that you love to do, whether it be if you're a salesperson and you love to close the sales, it's going to keep you closing sales. If you are an accountant and you love to be cranking through the numbers and working with the numbers and analyzing and figuring out what those numbers are telling you, then it's going to allow you to be able to do that. It's going to allow you to do what you do best, because it's going to do the mundane, oh my goodness, now I got to do this, now I got to do that. It's going to do it for you. It'll do those emails. It'll create the emails. And it does that because my team makes sure that they're going for you, make sure that they're working for you. Could you do it yourself? Yes, you can. You do have that option. You're going to pay a little bit more if you have us do it, but you're going to eliminate a lot of chaos and you're going to get your time. And that is probably one of the highest value things that you will ever come up with is your time. Your time is very critical, very expensive, and you are worth probably 2 to 3 times what you might be charging, because there are way too many people that just do not charge enough. And it's a lot of women don't. Most women don't charge enough for what they do, and many men don't. And so, they say, "Oh, well, but Joe only charges." It doesn't make a difference what Joe charges or Mary charges or Sue charges. What it makes a difference is, what is it that you are giving to your client? What is it that you are giving to the person that you're doing the work for? And if they are receiving the value, then what you are charging had better be enough to compensate you for what you are producing for them. And that is a difficult thing to work with, but it's so important. It is so critical. We need to be paying ourselves what we are worth. And too many people say, "Well, yeah," and there's so many ahs and blah, but it doesn't make any difference. It is, what is it that you are worth? What is it that is the value? What is the value of what you are giving your prospects, your clients? What is it that you are doing for your prospect? Yeah, I have a friend who, they own a tree trimming business, and when they come out, they'll charge you a fee, and I'm grateful that they do not charge by the hour, because if they did, they would be making themselves worthless, because if you charge by the hour, you don't have the ability to put enough of a figure into that number, that charge, to be able to compensate you for the years of education, the years of working with clients, the years of finding questions and problems and concerns and being able to know how to fix that problem. And that's what people are paying you for. That's what is the value that you are giving to that client. That's what you are doing, is creating something that is worth much, much more than just an hourly rate. An hourly rate, that's fine for somebody working at McDonald's, but working in your business, that's not a good thing. If I were to charge you just for an hourly rate for what I do, you're not going to have the value of my getting a mortgage company out of bankruptcy. You're not going to be paying for the value of the years of the turmoil and education of working for this boss and this crazy boss and that crazy boss that just drove me nuts. But I learned so much from different bosses that taught me how to think, how to reason, and how to accomplish many things. One of the things that I learned and most grateful for was from the boss that was the most traumatic. Yeah, I say traumatic because that's the kindest way that I can describe him. He was always full of drama and always screaming and yelling, and he was 6'3" or 4, had a big leather executive chair, and one day he picked that chair up and threw it across the room at somebody. That was the type of boss that he was. And the best thing that he taught me, and I will give you his words because I love them and they are perfect in many, many situations. The best thing he taught me was, Irving said, "Joy, when somebody says no, you say, 'How can we make it work?' And smile and sit there and let them answer. You don't say another word, because the first person that utters a word at that point is the one that buys. And if you're talking to a banker, you're talking to an insurance company, you're talking to investors, you're talking to anyone, and this is where this came from, was in that type of a scenario, the first person that talks buys. And so if you're talking to a banker and you're looking to get a loan, you want them to be the ones that are going to be talking first so that they are giving you the loan. You don't want to be talking first so that you end up walking out of there with no money. Because if you talk first, you get nothing. You get to walk out and you won't get the loan. or you won't get the investment, or you won't get whatever it is that you're looking for. You won't if you're looking for a grant from the government, you're not going to end up getting the government grant. Let them talk first. Let them come up with, "How can we make it work?" And then you just smile. And smiles are easy. Takes less muscles of facial muscles to smile than it does frown, so you might as well just relax and smile. I know, sitting there and saying nothing is very difficult. People don't like the silence, and they want to fill the silence with words. But you just sit there and smile and smile some more and wait for them to answer. How can we make it work? It's amazing the things that people will come up with to make a situation workable. They ask you a question, then you can respond back to them, but you've got to wait for them to talk first. And that's a negotiating principle that is probably the strongest and best that I've ever learned. And Irving taught me a lot about negotiations. He was a master negotiator. He could probably get an Eskimo to sell him the ice cubes and then buy him back from him because he knew how to ask the question and leave it and have the Eskimo paying him for the ice cubes that the Eskimo just sold him. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. But that's just one of the things that I've got there that I just love, and so I hope that you are able to take that and use that. Use it every day. Use it in the way that you think about everything. When you're in a sales situation, you can always look at that and say, "Oh, okay. How can we make this work?" You get an objection, and I guarantee there salespeople will teach you the 1,000 different ways to respond to objection. But the best way I've ever found is when somebody says no, and this only works for the no, your response is, "How can we make this work?" And just be happy and be comfortable and relax and look at them and wait for them to respond. And that is just one of the little things that we do here at Joyous Sweet. And with Rev Turbo, we do that type of thing to be able to keep your prospects engaged, to make sure that we know where they're at. We are analyzing how are they responding? What are they responding to? Are they responding? If they're not responding, then something needs to be changed. We've got to make sure that we get the conversation going because without the conversation, you don't have any prospect. If they're not talking and they're not communicating, we need to be able to communicate and work back with them. That is one of the reasons that we don't have just a one size fits all. We will work with both email and SMS, the text messaging, making sure that we are getting the responses that we need. We're not going to get as much back with the text messaging because it's going to be shorter. However, you can set something up and get information back that is going to give you what question to ask next. Where do we want to take this? How do we want to get this going? And by doing that, we are creating that one for you. And you're not stuck sitting there having to go through this and figure this stuff out. That's why I've got a team that specializes in those things. They are experts at that. And with my direction, they've got all the things that I've learned plus what they already know. And it is, oh my goodness, you have just got everything working for you. You'll get to be able to have more time for yourself, for your family, to do what you want to do, to be the person you want to be, and turn your business into what you want it to be doing for you, for society, for the world, for everything around you, and for your customers. And that's what life is all about, in my thoughts, in my opinion. I want life to be something that I am able to give to. I want to be able to input something that is going to be a benefit to my clients, to my customers, to everybody that I am working with. And if I'm not doing that, shame on me. That's something that has to be done as far as I'm concerned. It needs to be there. What am I doing? Where am I doing it? How am I doing it? And together, we can create just a massive system that is going to live with you, that is going to grow with you, that is going to be part of you. And I've hinted at it next week, next Thursday. I am intending that I will be starting a free demo showing and explaining what Rev Turbo is all about. Next Thursday, I'm looking at probably 1:30. It'll be about a 30-minute demo, and it will just give you the information. You'll be able to see it work, you'll be able to ask the questions, you'll be able to see what I am talking about. So these are not just my words, they'll be able to be your words, and you will be able to find the answers that you may have. You'll be able to see, is this something that's going to be of benefit to you? Is it something that's not? And I guarantee it's not gonna be for everybody. Nothing will ever be for everybody. And I have no problem in telling you, if we talk and I determine that this is not going to be something that's for you, I have no problem in saying it's probably not going to be for you, at least not right now. You may want it later, but this is not the time to make an investment in this. This might be what you want to invest in. And I can give you references to this person, that person, and all kinds of other people, but I'll tell you if it's not going to be the right thing for you. And you're not going to find a lot of salespeople that'll do that for you. You're not going to find a lot of business owners that'll do that. But I am one of the things that I'm most proud of is my honesty. And I always tell people, if you don't want to know the answer, don't ask the question, because I cannot lie. You're going to get the answer, the exact straight answer, and it will only be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Yeah, and I don't know, whichever one of the cop shows, that police shows that came from that, I'm remembering that, but it's there, and it is always going to be, that's me. And yeah, I love being able to tell you that I was working for a builder. I was handling all the finances for the builder. And I had one day where we needed to get, this has been quite a while ago, but we needed a release on our loan for a construction apartment complex. And it was a $4 million release. And one of our contractors had filed a mechanics lien, and the mechanics lien held up that $4 million that we needed. I had gotten the mechanic into our office, gotten everything settled. I had the release in my hand. I'm talking to the owner of the title agency and said, Phil, I've got the release right here in my hand. Do you want me to have our runner run it over to you? And this was probably a 45-minute trip for our runner, but I didn't care. We needed the money to be able to continue this construction. And Phil looks, he says, no, Joy, you say you've got it. That's fine with me. Our runner will pick it up when he comes by today. No problem. And he released the $4 million on my word. And if I had not had what I said I had, he would have been out $4 million. And this was quite a few years ago, and $4 million then was a lot more than it is today. But $4 million even today is still a hefty sum if you are personally putting that out. And he would have had to if I did not have the paperwork that I said I had. And so that's my level of credibility that I I am known for being that honest, that people will release something based on my word that says, "Yes, I've done this," or "Yes, I have that. Yes, I will do this." They know that it's going to be done. And so that's who I am. And so if I tell you that this is going to be work for you, I guarantee it's going to work. If it doesn't, also guarantee you're not gonna have to pay for it because that's part of who I am. And so that's yeah, I don't know why I got into this, but apparently there was somebody that needed to hear a little bit of that story because that's not something that I always just go into and talk about, but that is that's just I'm wanting to be able to allow you to know who I am and what I'm all about. Because if we work together, I want you to know who you're working with. I want you to know that the people that you are working with are going to be as concerned about you and your business as they are about themselves and their business. And that is something that I pride myself in. So if we ever talk, if we ever work, you just make sure if you ask me a question, you really want to know the answer. Because if you don't want to know the answer, you're going to get the true answer anyway. So make sure that's something you want to know. But I will always be honest with everybody because that's me in business. That's who I am. That's who business is going to be, and that's what it's all about. So I'll close in my usual way. Today was a relatively short one. If nobody has told you yet today that they love you, let me be the first. I love you because you are you. And that is so very, very special. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for listening to me and being interested in Rev Turbo. I will be posting the dates and times for the demos. I will probably start doing them on Thursdays, and you can jump in and join us. I will most likely do them on LinkedIn. No, I will do them on I'll probably do them on Zoom because then there's more interaction that people can have with me. And I want you to be able to communicate and talk to me. So I will see you next week or next week, yes, and tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, having lunch with Joy, and then watch for the news about when I'm going to be posting and when we're going to be doing the demos, because I want you to be able to see what Rev Turbo is all about. Like I said, it may not be for you, but if it is, I'll be happy to work with you because you are special. My mother told me that I was special and that I could do anything if I set my mind to it. I believe that you are just as special. And if you don't believe that, know that I will believe it, that I already believe it, and I will believe it until you can believe it for yourself. With that, you have a great day, and I love you dearly. I will see you tomorrow.